Hi, I'm Aaliyah Woods, co-founder and farm manager for Commonwealth Urban Farms. Welcome to our beginning gardener video series. We're going to help you plant a vegetable garden even if you've never planted a seed in your life. This video is the first in a weekly series that will continue on through October. We've gotten through some cold weather. It's the beginning of March, and now we've got a warm spell. It's time to start the garden. So, where do we start? What do you need for a garden? Well, you need soil, and you need sun, and seeds, and water. Let's start with soil. Okay, soil. Healthy soil is key to a healthy garden. Not everyone has great soil in their yard. Not everyone has a yard. So growing in containers can be a great way to get started. We're going to mix up our own growing mix and then fill a container with it. Smart Pots are a high quality container made right here in Oklahoma City and sold across the country. You can also make raised beds out of lumber or straw bales or other materials. A really cheap and easy way to do a raised bed is to get a used kiddie swimming pool, the kind with rigid sides, not inflatable. Drill holes around the outside about 2 inches from the bottom and then fill it with good soil. Here's the link to some directions on that. This Smart Pot is a number 20 size Smart Pot. It's about 20 inches wide, about 15 inches tall. We'll need about almost 3 cubic feet of soil to fill it. Put your money in your soil. Healthy soil is key to a healthy garden. You can buy inexpensive potting mixes at big box stores. They're cheap, but they're cheap. Or you can go to a garden center, a local garden center, and get a higher quality mix. It'll cost you more money. Or you can make your own. To make our potting soil, we're going to use 3 main ingredients. The first one is compost. Get the best compost that you can. Making your own is always the best idea. Then you really know what's in it. We're going to use 1 bucket of compost. Then we're going to add 1 bucket of vermiculite. Get coarse or extra coarse grade vermiculite. The vermiculite will help hold water in the mix. And then we're going to use a bucket of either peat moss or coir, coconut coir. There's environmental questions with each one of these, so you'll have to decide for yourself which is best. Coconut coir is made from the husks of coconuts, and it comes in bricks like this. To use it, you'll put one of these bricks in a big tub of water and let it hydrate. It'll expand quite a bit in size and loosen up, and then you can let it dry out a bit and sift it. And you end up with this. So we'll put 1 bucket of that, either the peat moss or the coir in here. And then I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of blood meal for nitrogen. And a 1/2 cup of green sand for trace minerals. And green sand is just what it sounds like it is. It's green sand. It comes from the bottom of the ocean, and it's a great addition, great way to add trace minerals to your mix. And then we're just going to mix it all up. After your ingredients are thoroughly mixed, you'll fill a Smart Pot. This Smart Pot is already half full. You're going to need 2 wheelbarrows full to fill up your Smart Pot. And you'll have a little bit left over at the end. That's good because over time this mix will settle down a little bit and you'll need to top it off. Now let's talk about location. I like to plant gardens near the front door. That way I'm walking by them frequently, it reminds me to water them, and it allows me to enjoy them many times throughout the day. Also, we need sun. We need full sun for vegetable gardens. So look above you and to the south. Make sure there's no trees or buildings blocking the sun from your garden. Now it's time to plant. We're going to start with planting lettuce seed today. broadcast the seed. So this is a method called cut and come again, where we'll have a thick layer of little tiny lettuce plants that we can cut, eat, let the plants regrow, cut the leaves again, and let them regrow. We'll probably get at least 3 harvests out of this crop of lettuce. So we're just going to sprinkle a seed very lightly on top. We don't need a whole lot of seed. Remember, each of these little tiny seeds is going to turn into a little lettuce plant. Just sprinkle it on. I'm leaving a gap around the outside edge. We're going to plant that with carrots and onions next week. The rule of thumb when planting lettuce, when planting any kind of seed, is to plant it 2 or 3 times as deep as the thickness of the seed. So you can see lettuce seed is tiny. We don't want to plant it very deep. When it germinates, that little tiny stem is going to have to push through the soil to get to the top. And we don't want it to have to go through a thick chunk of soil to get there. So now we're going to cover it with just a little bit, a light layer. Lettuce seed needs light to germinate. Some seeds do, some seeds don't. So we really don't want to cover it too thickly. If it's cold out, the lettuce will wait until it warms up to germinate. Seeds need warmth and moisture to trigger their internal sensor that tells them, hey, it's time to grow. I'm going to put a little bit of mulch down now that will help conserve moisture and keep the surface from drying out so quickly. You can use any kind of dry organic matter that you can shred up into small pieces. You can also use row cover. This is available at some garden stores. It's a spun polyester material, and if you lay it over here, put some bricks to keep it from blowing away, it will also help conserve moisture and warmth. Now we're going to water the garden. I like to use a watering can. Watering cans are going to be more gentle than a hose, and it keeps you close to the garden, paying attention to what's going on. We only need to water the surface of the soil at this point, where the seeds are. We don't need it to be moist all the way down here yet. If you do use a hose, make sure you put a nozzle on it that will give you, like these, that will give you a gentle watering. If you take a hose and point it right at the pot, it's going to push all the seeds around, and you'll have lots of lettuce seed here and no lettuce seed over here. So make sure you have a gentle method of watering. So there you have it. We've got a pot of lettuce on its way. Join me again next week. We'll go over the basics, and then we'll plant carrots and onions.